With election season in full swing, we are all hearing a lot about immigration from different angles. But a perspective that can often get lost is that of the humans seeking asylum, escaping horrific situations and risking their lives to find a safe place for them and their families. If you are interested in hearing those stories, Schuler Books is hosting a special event next week. Alejandra Oliva is the author of Rivermouth, a chronicle of language, faith, and migration. She is a translator and an immigrant justice advocate. She'll be in West Michigan on July 31st to discuss her book. Today, she joins us via Zoom with a preview. Alejandra, thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Absolutely. So talk to us a little bit about what you do and your job and how that led to you writing this book.
So I actually started out doing this as volunteer work. I had a friend who brought me to a clinic in New York where folks were applying for asylum pro se without attorneys. And she was like, we really need more Spanish speakers, more people who can interpret. And I said, well, I was raised bilingual. I grew up. I think I can do this. And as it turns out, interpreting is a lot trickier than it might seem at first, but I got the hang of it really quickly. And then what you end up doing is just sitting across from someone and talking to them about, what led them to leave their home country, which is this huge decision. And in so many cases, people were fleeing violence. They were fleeing really horrific circumstances. And I realized sitting across from them that these are not stories that we center whenever we're talking about immigration. We talk about jobs, we talk about the economy. These are important things, but we were really missing this huge piece of, what was driving immigration, what actually were the stakes for people when they were coming here. And it felt really important for me to talk about that and also to talk about my own upbringing as the child of immigrants, but as wealthy, more privileged immigrants, and sort of the differences in how this country treats us. And that's more or less what the book is about.
Yeah. And it's definitely a perspective that we don't get to experience unless we're seeking it out. So talk to us a little bit about some of the stories that you're including, really, why you wanted to share these stories and how it's really impacted you to be able to live a piece of life with these people who have gone through so much.
Yeah, so I think one of the main stories that I include in the book, especially in part one, is the story of Sarah, who is a mother that I met in Tijuana, who was getting ready to cross. You have to go through kind of a waiting period before you're actually able to cross. And she was there with her partner and her baby, who was, I think, like 8 months old. And she and her partner made this really, really difficult decision to have him take her baby and cross on their own and then have her follow them afterwards because of the way that the border works in border detention. Him with the baby would have gotten out of immigration detention, which everyone goes through, much sooner than he would have if their whole family had gone across at the same time and they had been separated. And so I spent time with her in those days where her family had been separated, not by government policy, but sort of by the logistics of how the border works, and just spending time with her as she was like going over this decision and worrying about what would happen to her baby and her partner really showed me that even when our policies are not immediately inherently harmful, like this was not the era when we were taking babies away from their parents, it was still causing family separation. It was still causing a tremendous amount of pain. And I think that was also one of the things that sort of led me to look at all of these other policies we have, like immediate detention for folks who are crossing the border, like detaining people sort of as they're waiting for their court dates, that lead to all this family separation and lead to pain, even when that's not sort of like the advertised headline around that policy.
Sure. What do you hope people take away from this book?
I hope people take away from this book a willingness to listen and a realization that the border isn't ever just happening at the border, but there are people who are facing these issues all over our country, in our neighborhoods, in our communities, and it can be part of being a good neighbor to reach out to them and listen to them and talk to them about what they're going through.
And obviously, you're a big advocate. Are there ways that we can help support these people in our community? We have a really large refugee community in Grand Rapids area and in West Michigan in general. What can we do to help them?
I think generally figuring out who's already doing the work in your community. I'm sure that there are tons of incredible organizations set up already who know what's happening on the ground and know what's needed, and just going up to them and saying, I'm here. These are my skills. This is what I'm able to do. How can you use me? And I think that is the best way to sort of get plugged in and start meeting people and start learning what the work looks like in your area specifically.
Wonderful. Alejandra, thank you so much for your time. And we're looking forward to hosting you here in West Michigan. So if you want to hear more about this book, about these stories, this is coming up July 31st. It is Wednesday, next Wednesday at Schuler Books on 28th Street. Starts at 6:30 p.m. It is free. They do ask that you pre-register on the Schuler Books website, but you want to learn more about Alejandra, there is her website there on your screen as well. We'll be right back.